G'day folks, welcome to another playthrough. This time we're doing Storming Sword, Introductory Scenario 3, which takes place on Sword Beach in front of Lyon-sur-Mer and Ouistreham. It's a very narrow beach with a lot of city hexes. Let's get into it and take a look. Okay, so here's the situation on Sword Beach at just before the 0700 turn. You can see this line of city hexes running from the west end of Lyon-sur-Mer to the east end of Ouistreham. These are the 4 beach landing hexes, and there are 4 gaps pretty much right in front of them. And then they hit these city hexes. A few minefields scattered throughout, 3 in or around this trout Vidicen nest, and the rest basically placed in front of the gaps. So there are going to be, again, those very tough city defences to deal with. But again, fortunately, the Vidicen nests are pretty weak. We have a one stepper here, a 1 stepper here, and then the 0 step, and then 3 single steps. -1, -2 defense modifier. This will be a tough one, particularly with a 6 fire rating. This is the one I'd like to get rid of very, very early with that 6 fire rating and the 5 troop quality. It's going to be very dangerous right in front. Then we have a lot of German reinforcements coming on with the 7, well, not a lot, but a few coming on with the 7/16th activation chip when it comes out. And they're coming out down here in the south, and then I think out here in the west, some artillery units coming on the board when that is activated. And we're dealing with the 3rd Infantry Division, these brown units up here. Again, landing here, trying to, as usual, clear the beach and get engineers off the east end and the west end of this map overlay. Gaps begin at 4, nests and obstacles at 5. This is my first objective. Given how close the gaps are to the landing hex, it'd be nice to open a gap early on. We'll see what we can do, and C state at 7, so a little bit nicer to those DDs, of which we have 2 at the start. And again, we begin with the naval chit. We will see how we go. Okay, here we are after that first naval chit. Things not going too great. Our focus was on reducing the nests and the obstacles, which we did, but we've burnt through a lot of those command points. We're down to 6 command points from the 3rd Infantry Division. Would have liked these to be a lot lower. We also haven't done much damage to these Vidicen nests, or defensive positions. They're not all Vidicen nests, of course. We have 1 cohesion hit out on the left here and trout. We have 1 cohesion hit in the center here on cod, and we just have a barrage marker on this one with no other damage, so 2 cohesion hits, which is pretty much all we did. In exchange, we didn't suffer too much. Cohesion here, a step loss here. Most other units okay, 1 cohesion hit there, so not too many casualties suffered due to those barrages being placed. We got lucky with the obstacle rolls, not too many hits on obstacles. I've been trying to reduce obstacles. I saw Lee Forrester focused on just getting the obstacles down a step or 2 to minimise the chances of getting a step loss. If you roll a 4 or 5 on those obstacles, it's a step loss. So just cutting that down to at least 3 minimises, well, actually eliminates the chance of getting a step loss instantly. Having said that, the naval chit goes back in, and I think we're in a pretty good position to follow up from here. So let's see how things go. Okay, here we are. This is a situation at the end of the 0700 turn. This is the end of the first turn, and I'm cautiously optimistic. The 3rd Infantry Division is looking pretty good. And right about now, having played 2.5 of these introductory scenarios, I'm feeling pretty good about how the rules are all playing out, and I think I'm doing everything well without making mistakes. I have first of all, reduced the nests to 0 to make those landings easier. I reduced the obstacles down. I saw what Leaf Forester did. I mentioned that earlier, and that's been down reduced to 1. And then I saw the importance of opening the gaps. So I focused on opening those gaps. It's now at 0, and we've had 3 gaps open. One here, one across here, and one here. So 2 of these open onto this hex, which is a bit of a problem because it creates a traffic jam here with this minefield. The we had a crab moved in and then advanced to here from minefield to minefield, and then assaulted this Vidistan nest, which was there, and knocked it out, and then advanced into the hex, while the engineers remained to clear off this minefield. This will hopefully facilitate the commandos moving off. They need to move off this hex here on the far right. Over on the left, this was probably one of the most important gaps to open. So the engineers moved in quickly, cleared the minefield. Actually, it wasn't those engineers; it was some engineers up here. Cleared the minefield, and then were able to open this route for the 27th Armoured to advance in. And you can see armoured. They've really pushed through and held the German reinforcements at bay before they can come on to Lyon-sur-Mer and stop that the 3rd Division moving on. So things are looking pretty good right now. We're keeping the Germans at bay. The 716th Infantry Division was the last ship in the cup, so it didn't come out, but it will come out immediately on the 0900 turn. The Vidistan nests are looking pretty quiet. This one has a cohesion hit and can fire. The other 2 out on the right here can't do anything. They've got no line of sight. German reinforcements will come on straight away, but they're blocked by these armoured units. These guys are actually armoured in whatever terrain that is. This is a hedgerow. Okay, what does that provide? That provides a -1 modifier for armoured units, so not bad. And infantry surrounding this Vidistan nest here. This path is wide open for these units to start coming on. So yes, it is looking pretty good, but I have said that at the end of the 0700 turn for the past 2 scenarios, so I'm going to wait and see what happens. All gaps are not open yet. They'll open as soon as the next naval sheet is drawn, the beach is not cleared, and the lines remain open, so those nests are still in communication. That is the end of the 0700 turn. Okay, here's the situation after the 0900 turn. If you're going to try and make sense of this, there's a lot of column markers and cohesion hits. Basically, my method has been to, for these units on the beach, one at a time, put them into column, push them through the gap, advance them, at times take a cohesion hit to take them out of column, otherwise leave them in column if they're by themselves. When I needed to get this infantry through, it was basically into column, through the gap, cohesion hit. Put the next one into column, through the gap, cohesion hit. That way there's no stacking of the columns. A lot of infantry taking cohesion hits, but most importantly they are off the beach. Now this turn I finally eliminated that nest out here on the left. I think that was through finally the naval barrage, which we also reduced the obstacles to 0. So we've done everything to open the beach except get these Marines off the beach. Now these Marines are always a problem. They're always slow to activate. You can't activate with them with a division ship or a direct command. They can only be activated with the Royal Marines activation marker. And this is always the biggest problem. This is the one thing that may go wrong, because these Marines now have to come through the gap. So 1 to get in the column, 2 to get into the city, and then they have to go 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the town without having anything interrupt them. Now, as you can see, there's a unit in column here, so they won't be able to stack there. So I need to be able to draw something to get them. In fact, the first command is going to be a direct command sheet. That was the one left over. So I'll have to use that as a direct command on that. That's an independent unit. So I don't think I can use direct commands on independent units, but I'll need to get that out of the way very quickly. to enable those commandos to get through. It may mean that they suffer opportunity fire along the way. That barrage marker will go. These guys are suppressed and have a cohesion hit. This Vitesse nest, STP remains. Despite having cleared this whole beach area, it's not a sure thing. It's still a risk that the Allies may lose this scenario. Let's see how it goes anyway over the coming hour. Well, unfortunately the first ship drawn on this turn was the Royal Engineers. So this big stack of engineers here could not get through in column. Basically they form up in column. They have to get through, take a cohesion hit. The problem here is they can't get through this stack here because of these crabs in column. This unit here is in a stack. Yeah, in column. It's just this one unit. Look at that. It's an independent unit. And of course they are in column. No other unit can move in column because it exceeds stacking. So they've kind of created their own little block, a roadblock. It's an interesting little situation here. This little path. This is impassable. It's a marsh. It costs leg units 3, which they can't afford. They can't go through there. 3 and 3. The commanders only have a very low movement rate. They need to be in column and they need to rush along that road, and they just can't do it. So they have to basically walk it, and it costs 2 movement points per city hex. That's about as far as they can get. So I kind of shot myself in the foot by having this armoured unit in column occupy that hex. I don't know how it happened. I don't know what they were still doing there. I should have been more mindful of that, cleared them out, at least got them out of... Well, they can't get out of column. They're in a city hex, they have to stay in column. They should have just pulled back or advanced down here somewhere. Yes, but that's in the scenario. It's, well, look, on the plus side, I've got my first beach cleared out of these 3 introductory scenarios. All gaps are open, beach cleared. I have secured, in effect, sword beach. I just couldn't get the commandos off to secure that victory condition. For the 3rd division, they achieved their primary task, clear sword beach by the end of the turn. That's all done. It's the first time I've done that. I have cleared the connecting road along... This is this red road. Make sure there are no enemy units along that road. All minefields, they've all been cleared, so I've achieved that. I have achieved their tertiary tasks. So the 3rd division have achieved all their tasks, which is to have 8 command points on their display. They currently have 16, so they've done pretty well there to build that back up. It's just the Royal Navy. The Royal Navy had to exit 16 steps of those commandos from here. They did manage to exit the 41st commandos off on the left here. These are the commandos. They had a clear road through there. They were fine. And they had no tertiary tasks. So it was just that one task, getting the commandos off on the right there, that prevented me from winning this scenario. The Allies need to complete all 5 of their tasks. All 5 of their tasks, if not, the Germans win. So the Germans win because the commandos didn't get off. That's, yeah, again, if you're really focused on winning and victory conditions, that would be quite frustrating. It is a little annoying that I made this silly mistake, but I really think I've learnt so many lessons. I'm going to repeat it again. I'm really proud that I've cleared that beach. It's a momentous occasion. I think the system of putting a unit to column, driving it through the gap, taking a cohesion hit, which then allows other units to move through. I only didn't do it here because I needed that armoured unit to be in column in the city hex, which is, I think, why there's an armoured unit there in column in a city hex. Yeah, look, not much else happened on the last turn. The Germans are certainly in no position to push forward. They just held their ground, and the Allies were happy just to hold and let the Marines go through. There's a big stack of Marines here, slowly making their way, but they're too late to make their rendezvous. This was a very, very interesting scenario because there's only these 5 little landing hexes in a very tight gap, pushing through just these 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps over 3 hexes. The city hexes are very well defended. Yeah, it plays out. All 3 map overlays, beach overlays, play out very differently. You could, they feel very different. You're employing sort of different little tactics and strategies. It was unfortunate that both gaps that I opened early pointed to the 1 hex, which created this kind of roadblock here. Opening this one was very important when I pushed through. So there you go. That is Storming Sword, introductory scenario number 3 from The Greatest Day.